All right, everybody, welcome. This was Harry Potter's remix epic version. So this is the Hedwig themed epic version. I just love searching for songs online and typing epic version afterwards, and usually YouTube is very helpful with that. Okay, so let's get started today again. We have a packed day, a lot more SAT English rules to go over. But as usual, let's start with mathematics. So I will put up a math question, and then we shall do it together. And I hope today you all work with me to follow the process that we set out for reading the questions. So what was that process? Well, that process is over here. If you remember, first, notice what type of question it is. What's the type of question? Then you highlight important information in the question. Then you write down values and equations with units. Now, I want to stress this one because the question we do today, you will need this. So please do units. Then write the ask clearly. This is especially important for second part questions. Then don't stop there. Keep reading. Read through all the options, A, B, C, D. Okay? And then before you start answering the question, just think through the different approaches. Can you eliminate MCQ? Can you plug and chug the MCQ? Can you plug in 0, 1, negative, positive, infinity, and others into the X values? Then can you narrow down the MCQ? Only then do you want to try using the calculator. And if also that doesn't work, then you want to use algebra to solve. Again, this will be very, very helpful for the question we do today. So please use this approach. Okay, and then once you have the answer, then make sure you check the answer against the ask that was identified over here. Super. So we will do the question. Does anybody want to raise their hand that will read the question with me today? We need someone to read the question, please. Thank you, Dhruv. Come on out. All right. You were the brave person in 127 people. I love it. Okay, Dhruv, you should be able to unmute yourself. Yep. So please read this question and tell me what to highlight. Let's do the first part.
All right. Alan drives an average of 100 miles each week.
Okay.
So I would highlight average 100 miles each week.
100 miles each week. Okay. And what do you do with this?
And
what do you notice? Let's do one more thing here. What do you notice here?
Well, I guess
we notice units, right?
Yeah.
So let's just write these down. Whenever we come across units, let's just note them down. So let's do Alan drives 100 miles per week. Okay. All right. Next.
His car can travel an average of 25 miles per gallon of gasoline. Okay. So I would highlight average 25 miles per gallon of gasoline.
Okay.
And so that would be unit of miles per gallon, 25 miles per gallon.
Tank is 25 miles per gallon. Okay.
Alan would like to reduce his weekly expenditure on gasoline by $5. Okay. So he would like to, I guess you can quantify the weekly expenditure as X dollars, and he would like it to reduce it to X minus 5.
So reduce weekly expenditure by $5. That's weekly, right? So what we do is reduce, and then we do $5 per week. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So assuming gasoline costs $4 per gallon, which equation can Alan use to determine how many fewer average miles he should drive each week? Okay. So gasoline costs $4 per gallon.
So gasoline costs $4 per gallon. Is $4 per gallon. Okay.
And how many fewer average miles?
So fewer average miles. M.
Yeah. You should drive, each week. So.
And it's each week. So this is very important. So it's M is
each week.
Miles per week. So these are the units that we have. Okay. So keep going.
Well, so we have an average of how much he drives.
Well, so be careful.
And we need to find out.
4 options.
We have an average of how many miles he drives per week right now, and how much.
We
and
want
we need to find out how much. Yeah, sorry, right, options.
Options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that.
25 over 4m equals 95.
Yeah.
So m is.
Just tell me, what do you notice about these options? What is something?
Well, A and C, the numerator and denominator is flipped for 25 over 4 and 4 over 25, but the equation is equal 95.
And here we have
A and C, yeah.
Yeah. And then this goes with this, and this goes with this, right?
Yeah.
So essentially what we have to figure out.
And they're both squares, 4 and 25.
That's right. Okay, this is 5 squared. This is 2 squared, yeah. Maybe that's important, we don't know. But essentially what we have to figure it out is whether is it 25 over 4 or 4 over 25? Is it this, or is it 5 and 9? That's what we have to figure out.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of information from reading the question. So what did we do? And is it a second part question? The only thing we have to be careful about here is fewer. This is the important part we have to be careful of. So this is the ask. Ask is here. Okay, so we have everything. All right, folks, I will let you guys do this question. Let me remove all of this. And I will actually remove this also. All right, go ahead, folks. So as you're doing this question, I really want you to think, again, of different ways of doing this question that can make it much easier. We've already talked about the approach that you can take in a question like this. So just try and think of an approach that we've talked about that can make this much easier. Especially if you've already gotten the answer, or if you think you've already gotten the answer, I want you to, again, look at this question and see if you can come up with a better approach. Okay, I'll give you guys another 20 seconds. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So interestingly, the answers are all across the board. We have basically same number of people for every single answer. So this is a tough one. I won't lie. This is not an easy one. But I want to just show you, regardless of the approach you took, I just want to show you the approach we talked about, which is called working with units. This is a very simple working with units problem, which makes, if you do it this way, this question and other such questions become very, very simple. So what do I mean by that? Well, the first thing you want to realize is units have to be equal on both the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So let's work with the right-hand side, it's smaller. So 95, they probably got by doing 100 minus 5. Now, is it possible to do 100 miles per week minus $5 per week? Is that a correct arithmetic operation? It is not. This is incorrect. Therefore, 95 cannot be the answer, so A and C is not the answer. So here we have done first one, which is eliminate MCQ. We can't really plug and chug anything over here, so let's move on. Then we want to narrow down MCQ. So the next thing we want to see is 25 over 4 or 4 over 25. So we know that the right-hand side is equal to 5. And what are the units of 5? Well, the units of 5 are dollars per week. Oops. Okay. And on the left-hand side, we have M. What's the units of M? Well, M is miles per week, right? Now we want to get dollars per week. So what we have to do here is we have to cancel out miles. So how can we cancel out miles? Well, we have miles in here, right? We can only use 25 or 4. These are the only two options we've gotten. Let's use a different color. You can only use this or this because that's what we're working with. We're working with 4 and 25. So we want to cancel out miles. So therefore, this has to be, this has to be multiplied by gallons over miles, which becomes 1 over 25. Does that make sense? If 25 is miles per gallon, then 1 over 25 is gallons per mile. Therefore, miles and miles cancel out. Well, we still don't have dollars per week. We have gallons per week now. So we need to cancel out gallons. So where do we have gallons? We have gallons over here. So we multiply this by $4 per gallon. So gallon cancels out. And then we're left with dollars per week and dollars per week. Therefore, the answer is 4 over 25. M is equal to 5. So the answer is D. So I want to do a poll, which is, does this method make sense? Okay. It makes sense for most of you. If it doesn't make sense, that's okay. We will most probably touch on it again. So I really want you to remember this method whenever you see difficult units like this. It will help you a lot, especially in this, and it will even help you a lot in physics, in whatever physics test you take. Just matching the units. All right. That was really fun. That was a fun math question, right? I'm trying to pick out only the coolest and the best questions. So we can really work with our creativity and come up with new ways of solving it. So let's go into English. What do we have today? In English, we have to continue going through the rules. I think if we are fast enough, today will be the last day we go through rules. And then starting tomorrow, we will be looking at problems. Now, a quick question for you is, does anybody remember all the rules from the top of their head that we've done so far? Do you remember all of the rules? Don't worry, I won't ask you, but do you remember all the rules? Yeah, no, you don't. Neither do I. It's okay. The expectation is not that you would remember them. If you do, that's fantastic. Good for you. This is amazing. Okay, it's okay. We will be going through practice, and the practice will show us, will help it commit to our memory. I do want to address one thing though. Many of you have emailed me asking me for the presentation, and I'm not sharing it, not because I'm cruel and I don't like you guys, but really because sharing it is not going to assist in your learning. I really want you to either take photos or just go back and Google search these things and then make notes yourself. The act of making pure notes is the most important part of pure notes. So for example, let me share screen. So for example, we did this table yesterday, right? The tenses, the 12 verb tenses, we went over them, and then we did this table. If you don't have this down, just write down continuous perfect tense on Google. And if you just go to images, it's so simple. You pick on something like this, and here you have subject plus will have plus been plus verb ing. And if you go to this website, you will see it over here, and then there's probably more somewhere. So let's search perfect. No, there's too many. Let's see. Yep, if you go to the bottom, they're all over here. You can do perfect, future perfect, simple past, whatever. Let's see, what's the verb tense chart? They even give you a nice chart. So really, the time you take to write me an email and ask me for this it's not helping you in your learning, because you're just going to take this and file it away. I really want you to look at these and build the notes yourself. That will really, really assist in your approach to learning and your ability to commit this to memory. So this is why I don't share the screen with you, or this document with you, because I really want you to make these presentations yourself, or these notes yourself. Okay, so let's keep going. Today what we have is some fun new rules, but first let's review, okay, this one. So just to help in driving this home, this is a contraction apostrophe exception. This is another rule. I want everybody to take 2 minutes and Google search what this rule is about. Okay, I want you to figure out what the rule is on your own. You can figure it out. You can just Google search this term and know when to use which one. So everybody take 2 minutes. I'm not going to tell you what the answer is for this one. I really want you to just learn on your own. And then if you have it figured out, just raise your hand and tell me. And then maybe one brave person can come and share what they learned with everybody else. So the ask is right now, Google search and figure out what does this mean? What is this? And then if you have it figured out, please raise your hand. Nice, we have one person that figured it out. Thank you. Nice, the second person figured it out. I love it. Nice, 3 people. 4, 5. I love it. Nice, I recognize these names. This is awesome. Thank you all for being involved in this class. I'm starting to recognize you guys. Nice, more and more people are starting to figure it out. Awesome. Awesome. Super. Okay. It's starting. Everyone's starting to raise their hands now. Aparna, you want to come out and share with us what's the difference between your and your?
So an apostrophe is added in the place like where you're skipping a letter basically. So basically.
So what's the letter here?
That's basically you are.
Yeah.
But then they remove the A and put the apostrophe instead.
You are. This is what it means. Okay.
Yeah.
What does the one without apostrophe? What does this mean?
That's like yours. So it's like something which belongs to you, I guess.
Possessive. Perfect. It's possessive. So in these cases, these are all possessive terms. Thank you, Aparna. These are all possessive terms, but their apostrophe version is not possessive. Their apostrophe version is because they're skipping a letter. So this is who is, this is you are, this is they are, and this is it is. We talked about this over here. So that wasn't too hard, right? Learning on our own isn't too hard. Perfect. Cool. Let's review one more thing. What did we do here? Oh, okay. The takeaway from yesterday's exercise that we did here is that whatever passage you're reading, just make sure that the story and the tenses make sense. That's all. The takeaway from this is just make sure it makes sense. If something is in the past, keep it in the past. If something is past continuous, keep it in past continuous. You won't, I don't think you will really have to remake this because it's a multiple choice question, but just make sure that the sentence makes sense and the timings of the story make sense. Don't time travel in your papers. Okay, let's keep going. Punctuation. So we have a new rule today under punctuation. This is dashes, the dashes rule. So dashes work very similar to commas, and they can be used to mark off non-essential clauses. But if you use a dash, then you have to combine it with another dash. You cannot combine it with a comma. Yeah. And they can also be used to introduce a list, just like a colon. So for example, my brother, when he was very young, crawled under the desk. I have a dash here. I cannot combine this with a comma. The correct way is to have a dash here and have a dash here. And that's the correct way to do this. So I'll give you 20 seconds to take a photo of this and write it down. And notice how I don't have an example for when a dash can be used to introduce a list. This is very simple. Just Google search using a dash to introduce a list, and you'll get an example. Okay, moving on in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sweet. Okay, we have we have 6 new placement of comma rules. So let's go through these. Placement of comma. What do we have here? Dependent clause at start rule. This basically means that comma goes after dependent clause, prepositional phrase, or descriptive phrase that's at the start of the sentence. So for example, when he was very young is a descriptive phrase, or if you remember, this looks like a modifier, right? We did this. This is a modifier for my brother. And because it's at the start, then you should put a comma. So the right way to do this is when he was very young, comma, my brother crawled under the desk. In the list rule, commas go between elements in a list. So I like driving, eating, and teaching SAT. There's no commas. There should be commas. Now the question is, should this comma be here? Again, I want you to Google search and tell me whether this comma should be here. So I'm going to do a poll. So the poll is, should that comma be there? In SAT, is the rule that in a list, there should be a comma after the and, before the and. Please Google search and tell me. Folks, if you're getting the wrong answer, you're probably not Google searching this. So please Google search. Okay, all right. So what do we get? Let's Google search. What do we Google search? Comma before and list in SAT. It says it's called an Oxford comma. Technically optional, but every list question I've seen uses Oxford comma. So we need this. So essentially the answer is, it's yes, there is a comma before the and. We discovered this. This is awesome. Okay, interchangeable adjective rule. This is not too frequent. I've not seen this too frequently, but commas go between 2 adjectives that describe the same thing, and these 2 things are interchangeable. So I like driving big fancy cars is incorrect. I like driving big, comma, fancy cars, and these 2 are interchangeable. I can also write, I like driving fancy big cars. Will also be correct. So therefore, you put it here. This is again, not too frequent. Okay, question for you guys, since here, I have 3 sentences. Yo, what's up? Yo, yo, what's up? What's up, yo? And what's up, yo, yo? Okay, so we have A, B, C, D, right? Does that make sense? A, B, C, D. Okay. So I want you to tell me which one is not correct in in today's world? Which one can, if I use, which one will I be weird if I use it? This is B, this is C. Okay. You guys are telling me it's weird if I use any of these. All right, that's okay. Okay, so this is what we have. So we have 69% of you say if I use D, then that is weird. It's considered incorrect, right? So this is not an official rule, but this is I think I'm not too sure. I think this is how English rules are made. Somehow people start using it, and apparently it's okay to say yo-yo, what's up, but it's not okay to say what's up, yo-yo. That's weird. So this is how English rules are made. And then maybe in the future, there will be an SAT tutor that's sitting on his computer teaching you between how many yos you can use before and after what's up. So that would be a cool world, right? So, well, we are living in that cool world right now because somewhere cool people in the past decided where there should be commas and where there shouldn't be commas. And now we have to learn them. So we are seeing history in the making, friends. So this is really cool. Okay, so we have learned these. I will give you 10 seconds to take a photo. All right, moving on. Next three, transition word rules. Comma separated transition separates transition words from the rest of the sentence. This, whoa, what happened here? This is correct. Okay, however is a transition word, therefore there should be a comma after however. In quotes, commas go before or after quotes. We have I asked, where's the Indian food? The comma is before. And then there it is, she replied. So the comma is afterwards, over here, there it is. So these are two places. And then name rule, commas used when addressing someone by name. So Naman, what is your SAT score? Naman is a name, therefore I use a comma after Naman. And I say Naman, comma, what is your SAT score? So please take a photo of this. Oh, that's a good point. This should not be capital. Wait, should it? Let's Google search this. What's capital? All right, so we had a question come up. Why is there a capital W? So this is what we have. If we Google search this, we have begin every quotation with a capital letter if the quotation marks the beginning of a sentence. Do not use a capital letter for the second part of a quotation that divides a sentence. So what do we have here? So my sister, this is the start of the sentence. Okay, this is also at the start. Mary said to the group, the meeting will begin. So it's capital, indirect. Mary told the group that the meeting would begin promptly. So notice commas and periods always go inside the quotation mark. Chris said, I'm not going. This is capital. And then he added, not today. So if we go back here, we have I asked. So this would be capital. There it is. Maybe this would be small. Yeah, but we were not really tested on this. Oh, good question. This should be small w. Thank you. Thank you for the help. Sweet, we learned something new. All right, moving on. Moving on. Concision and redundancy. Okay, so the next two slides are very, very, very important in SAT. So please wake yourselves up and let's focus on this one, okay? So concision and redundancy comes up in almost every single question. So the first is wordy error, okay? Correct grammar, but unnecessarily wordy. To correct this, use fewer words. You can also combine sentences that suggest one event before another. So going to the beach used to be normal. Now going to the beach is rare. To correct this, we can say going to the beach used to be normal, put a comma. However, transition phrase, comma, it has now become rare. So it replaced going to the beach. And this also highlights the second one, which is redundancy error, repeating unnecessarily. So to correct, remove or replace repeated portion. Watch out for synonyms in the same sentence. So annually, I go to the beach every year. Annually and every year means the same thing. Therefore, I can remove annually and say, I go to the beach every year. So I will give you another 10 seconds or 20 seconds to take a photo of this. Awesome. Okay, moving on. So this is very important, and we're just going over these, and this will make a lot more sense when we do examples. Let's go to the next one. Words. Okay, this is the toughest one to teach. You basically have to memorize it. So idioms are, whoa. So what's an idiom? Let's Google search idioms. So they're common SAT idioms. So these are common phrases that go together. For example, if we go to, so an idiom is insists on is normal, insists at is not used. So there's just a list of idioms that you have to find and just memorize those. So let's search for a list of idioms SAT. And there's so many idioms. Oh, we were on this side just now. So if we go to the bottom, is there a list? Okay, so these are the lists. You can be anxious about, not anxious for. You ask about, not ask on. You bring about, not bring on. You can do celebrate as, regard as, not regarded to. See as, not see to. So these are phrases, and they're used very, very frequently. Actually, no, sorry, not frequently. Maybe in an SAT test, there's like one or two. You just have to sort of memorize these. What I would recommend doing is Google search for a list of idioms. Whichever ones you don't know, write those down in your pure notes and then learn those. That's what an idiom is. So we will write this in. Together. So regarded to be is incorrect. You have to regard as. You can be suspicious towards. You can only be suspicious of. And you cannot be interested to. You can only be interested in. So this is exactly like what's up, yo-yo. It's an idiom. What's up, yo is a correct idiom, but what's up, yo-yo, unfortunately, is an incorrect idiom. These are how these come about. So we are just learning history in the form of English. Okay, second is commonly confused words. So again, you just have to memorize these. For example, affect is to influence, whereas effect is a result of. So I will affect your grade because I will influence your grade. And then your grade will be effected because it's a result, right? Yeah, so we Google search, commonly confused words, SAT. Frequently confused words, Magoosh, let's see what do they have. Among, between, complement, complement, disintegrate, disinterested, uninterested, fewer, less. Fewer, less is very important. So let's read what we have here. If you cannot count what's being talked about, use fewer. If you can count what's being talked about, use fewer. If you cannot count it, use less. So there are fewer people because I can count people, but there is less Sadness, because I cannot count sadness. Personal, personnel, whom. So you just have to Google search this and learn it. Okay, and yeah, so idioms actually are usually phrases, but in SAT, idioms are not phrases. They're these couplets of words. That's what they call them. All right, and then quite a simple one, but also equally important is conjunction or contradiction rule. When you're joining two ideas that relate logically, use the correct word. So if the two ideas are supportive of each other, you use a conjunction, which is because, therefore, hence, for example, whereby, consequently. And if the two ideas are against one another, you use a contradiction, but however, while, nevertheless, on the other hand. This is just really a complicated way of make sure your sentences make sense, make sure that the two sentences are joined correctly. You can use common sense for this. We're just putting this in complex English phrasing. So I will give you another 10 seconds to write this down or take a photo. All right. How are we doing? Should we do one more slide? How are people feeling? Should we do one more slide? Okay, all right. We'll take a small break with the slides. We'll do an exercise now. So if you remember, we did modifiers 3 lessons ago. So we're gonna do this exercise and review what modifiers is. So in the sentence, there is an incorrect modifier. So what is the incorrect modifier? Neil Armstrong made history as the first man to step on the moon in 1969. So this makes it seem like in 1969, the first man to step on the moon was Neil Armstrong, which means maybe in 1968, there was somebody else that went before him. So this incorrectly, in 1969, incorrectly modifies first man to step on the moon. Does that make sense? Because it seems like he was the first only in this year, not the first ever. So can you please write down in chat how to correct this modifier error? And you get extra points if you can tell me what kind of modifier error this is. But again, you don't need to know the type in SAT, you just need to. Nice, nice, okay, awesome. So you just move this in 1969 to the front because you want to put the modifier right next to the subject it is modifying. So the subject being modified is Neil Armstrong. Therefore, you want to put 1969, in 1969, Neil Armstrong, right? Because this was in 1969. Or Neil Armstrong made history, you can put it next to history in 1969 as the first man to step on the moon. That is also correct. Okay, please fix this one. These are just so funny. So this makes it seem like the guest was medium rare. So the restaurant was cooking the guests. This is an incorrect modifier again. So the modifier is that was medium rare. So we want to move this to what was medium rare? The steak was medium rare. So we copy this medium rare and we can put it next to steak. So the waiter presented a medium rare steak to the guest, or the waiter presented a steak that was medium rare. And then we would put this in 2 commas. And what does this become? Can you write down in chat, what does this become? Remember we talked about this? Non-essential phrase, yes, perfect. You guys are getting it. Oh, you guys are so smart, I love it. You remove this and this sentence still makes sense. Super, non-essential phrase and modifier. Okay, let's do this one. What's wrong here? What's the issue? It's a misplaced modifier, but not really. It's a different kind of modifier error. There we go. Thank you, Ritvik. It's a squinting modifier error. Thank you. Let's just make sure I'm correct, actually. Modifier, where are we? Squinting, unclear. Yes, this is correct. Because it makes it seem like couple agreed during the family dinner, or the couple agreed that during the family dinner, they would announce their engagement. We don't know. What happened? Is it they agreed during family dinner, or they would announce during family dinner? We don't know. So we want to move this to either here or here. Either or. Okay, we get this. Let's do this one. What does this make it seem like? Here it seems like the menu was high in sugar. This is so silly. The menu cannot be high in sugar. The lunch can be high in sugar. So you put that was high in sugar on the menu. Sugar. Sweet. This is good. And then, yes, okay, notice another squinting one. Oh, sorry, this is not squinting. This is just this. I put this here to show you that changing the word positioning can change the meaning. So here it seems like she only interviewed Japanese speakers, or she interviewed only Japanese speakers, or here she only interviewed Japanese speakers. Do you see the difference? This is very subtle. Do you understand the difference though? Let me do a poll. Where did my polling feature go? What? Okay, can you type, my polling feature is gone. They took away privileges. Can you type yes or no if you understand the difference here? Okay, I see some no's. It makes sense. Okay, so this means like she interviewed only Japanese speakers. Maybe she did not interview English speakers. Okay, but here they're saying that she only interviewed. So maybe she may also have taken a video, right? That's what they're saying. She only interviewed. Maybe she took a video also, or maybe she went to dinner with also, right? There could have been many other things she did with Japanese speakers, but here they're saying she only interviewed. That makes sense, right? Okay, cool. We are running out of time, so we will, cool, you get it. Awesome, 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 awesome. Let's go back and do miscellaneous. The top two are very important, so we'll go over this. Match the tone of the passage. What's up, yo is most likely not going to be accepted in the SAT, although I would be very excited if that happens. More likely, hello, how are you doing makes more sense. Match the tone of the passage, all right? Command rule, this is, okay, sorry, these two are not that frequent, but if I say words such as request that, order that, or require that, I'm making a command. So in this command, we have to follow it with be plus verb participle. So I cannot say, I request that you are present for this class. This is incorrect. I say, I request that you be present for this class. That's the difference. So you put be present. Can you all command something? Can you all type in the chat a command using be plus something? Any one of these commands? Nice. I request that you be soft in the library. Okay. Or, yeah. I command you to be on time for the lecture. Perfect. I command you to be nice. I order you to be organized. I request that Barney should be played. Or you say, I request that Barney be played. I love that. I order that you be prepared in your tasks. To kill, okay. I order you to be kind. I command you to be ready. Perfect, perfect. You guys are great at commands. When you guys are older, I'm sure you'll have a lot of people to command. All right, subjective and conditional rule. A hypothetical or something not real Here, the verb is changed from was to were. So was the SAT easy? No one would study for it is incorrect. Instead, I say, were the SAT easy? This is the hypothetical. Were they easy? No one would study for it. Or if I was in your shoes, I would be happy. We say this so frequently, right? But this is incorrect. You're supposed to say, if I were in your shoes, I would be very happy. This is the were. Okay, please take 10 to 20 seconds to write this down. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh, miss is miscellaneous. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, we are back. So I think we have gone through the bulk of the SAT grammar rules that we need to know. Does anybody have all of them memorized now? Oh my gosh, my poll's not working. No more polls for you today. I'm sorry, but I'm guessing no. It's okay. We will learn these over the next couple of days. One thing I do want to stress in the beginning when I said Google search and answer these questions for yourself, I'm not saying it's wrong for you to send me questions. That's perfectly fine. It helps me also know what you're lacking. I'm just suggesting to you that another way to learn is if you Google search it on your own, it's a higher likelihood that you will be able to commit this to memory. English rules are unending. You can go each rule, there's so many exceptions and things like that. So we cannot possibly cover all those rules together. So you will have to do a lot of learning on your own. And I will also show you later on how we do that learning specifically for SAT. So we will do that. Okay. So the rules, you'll understand those. Use Google. Let's do a couple more practice. Yeah, actually, Aditi, could you launch, if the question, could you launch a yes/no poll, please? And the question is, do you have all these rules written down somewhere? Or photos taken? Okay, super. We can end poll. So we have 93% of you have this written down. Super, cool. And again, if you don't have this written down, you just pull up Google and then you start Google searching rules. So let's see, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you where I got these things, okay? So I went to SAT writing rules and Google search. And then this was a good blog, 50 plus SAT grammar rules. I went through this. You can see it's purple. And I basically just went through this document. And if you go to the bottom of this, you will notice that there is a summary, bottom. This is very long. I went through all of this. And you will notice that our notes so far match the summary very well. So this stuff it's all online. I just really urge you guys to find it and make these pure notes yourself. This will really help you commit this to memory and understand the nuances that we did not have time to go over. If you do this yourself, usually like in math, I'm not teaching you math. I chose to do a little bit of English teaching, but this is really what I want you to take away. If you take away anything from the writing section, is to just go through these guides. It's all for free, it's all online. This is another really good document, 50 plus rules. This is rule 1, means a noun. Rule 2, I got a lot of stuff from this again, rule 4, etc., etc. You just go over these and then you can get it. So if you missed a couple classes, that's okay, you can go through these. What I might do is give you the names. I will give you all of the names and then you can fill out the details for yourself. All right, we have some time left. Let's commit some of the important ones to memory. So here we have parallelism examples. Again, I would like you to tell me what is the correct way to do this. What is the error, or how do you correct this? Awesome. You guys are getting it. So they are breathlessly vibrant. That's one part. Symmetrical, that's the second part. So to be the same, we have to do either just profound or profoundly green. Then we match breathlessly vibrant. So this will now be parallel. Let's do this one. Okay, so you don't need an and here. There's no subject. There's no subject in this. This is a dependent clause. So this is why this is okay. So just be careful. This is a dependent clause. And so this is they gives too much time cleaning their rooms, and therefore this would have to be leaving, because leaving and cleaning will have to match. Yep, makes sense? Leaving and cleaning. Perfect, nice, you guys are getting it. Okay, let's do this one. And I also want you to tell me is this correct? Is it's correct? Or no, wait, not this one. Is this it's correct? Can I replace this with it is? So the way to do this is, can I replace and it is overall cost? Does this make sense? No, it does not make sense anymore. Because it does not make sense, therefore, this is incorrect. So you just leave it like this. So to check the contractions, just replace it with its full form. If it still makes sense, then you put an apostrophe. If the full form does not make sense, then you remove the apostrophe. So full form does not make sense, so we remove this. Okay, when choosing a sport, youths are encouraged to consider its difficulty, its required skills, its necessary equipment, and its overall cost. Isn't this correct? 1 second. Where is the answer to this? Yeah, this is correct, right? Yeah. So you need the it's because notice the parallel structure. So consider its difficulty, its required skills, its necessary equipment, and its overall cost. That's why you need the its. Remember, you stack it up in a column, and if the structure makes sense, then it's good to go. This is how you can tell. Okay, let's do this one. I didn't even read this question before. This is us together in class. We sing and dance to Barney. Okay, so what I'm getting from you is featuring, playing, acting, and being creative. Does this look correct to you? Is this now, are they the same? No, so this is why you cannot put being creative, you have to put creating. Now these stack up, now they're the same. Okay? So parallelism is very important, friends, really, really important. This one comes up very frequently. Please learn and understand this. And if you're struggling, do just Google search more examples, and then you will be able to practice this on your own. Okay? We understand this. Okay, let's do this one. Stack it up in your heads. Stack it up in your head, see if it makes sense. I love the folks that are participating. Thank you so much for writing this. Okay, so we have, it is important. So we can do two things. We can do important to improve flexibility and to avoid injury. This is correct. Okay. However, if we remember today, we went over, where did we go? Concision. Concision is very important. Therefore, what we will change this over here is avoid injury. And then the to comes up here. And the structure is to improve flexibility and to avoid injury. This is also correct. So we remove the to. Avoiding will not work because improve and avoiding are not the same. This would have to be improving. But then it doesn't make sense with the tense of the sentence. All right, let's do this last exercise in the last few minutes. Okay, for these sentences, for this sentence, can you tell me which word to remove? Which word or words to remove? Okay, let's say remove shape. That doesn't make sense, so thank you. In shape, oblong and oblong is a shape, perfect. What's about this one? Thank you. Past, we remove past. Memories are past. You cannot have past, you cannot have future memories. That would be pretty cool. We went over redundancy. Watch out for synonyms. This is the rule we're practicing, so just watch out for synonyms over here. Okay, let's do this one. This one. Yep, we remove down. Can we remove descend? Does this make sense? No, this does not make sense. Mom has to down the basement. Nope. So therefore we have to remove down, okay? In my personal opinion, the lines at the post office have grown too long. Okay, can we remove opinion? In my personal, it makes no sense. Therefore we do in my opinion. The opinion, my and personal, my opinion and personal is the same. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, it was estimated at 1,000. So will this be estimated at or estimated to be? So let's search idiom estimated to be. What is this? It's estimated to be. So according to idioms, the correct way is to do it this way. So look at that, we learned, oh nice, many of you put to be, cool. So you remove at and you do to be, at. No, to be, estimate to be 1,000, yep. All right, we are at time. For tomorrow, oh, we didn't do this. Oh, okay, we're gonna do this real quick. We're gonna do 1 minute. This game was so fun. We started two minutes late. Okay, so can you help me match the idioms? No, not this one. Oh, what is happening? Match. Okay, can you help me match the idioms? Can you type in the chat what the idioms are and I will match it? Succeed in, we have a succeed in. Where succeed in? Awesome, okay. Pretends to, nice. Wait for, okay. Defiance of, okay. Indigenous to, yep, indigenous to the area, and mistrust towards. Look at that, awesome. That was 35 seconds. We are so smart. All right. Thank you for playing that game with me. You learned a couple idioms, and we are done for today. Let me send you out with some more awesome Harry Potter music. Chapter theme song.